Hi, and welcome once again to Eating Plebian. Today we are doing ham, green bean, and potato soup. Or if you don't like that, we can do green bean, potato, and ham soup, or possibly even, potato, ham, and green bean soup. Anyways, this has actually just been a recipe that's been in my family again for untold ages. I've been eating it for as long as I've been alive. It is an exceptionally simple recipe and one that I know is shared by many people. I've seen other people make it themselves when you actually thought that perhaps it was just something you did. Who knows? Anyways, what we're going to do is, well, we're going to get started with this with the ingredients list as always. I've freed up my medium-sized Dutch oven that's waiting patiently on the stove. I've got 2 to 4 Yukon Gold potatoes. Actually, those are just two because they were the size of baseballs. But also, we've got 2 carrots thinly sliced. Or in my particular case, this is actually 1 carrot. You can tell by the cross section of these things that that 1 carrot had the words Louisville Slugger kind of on the side of it for some reason. 1/2 of an onion or 1 small onion, 2 cans of green beans. You can reserve the liquid if you'd like. I've got 3 bay leaves. One isn't enough. 2 probably would be okay, but I have a superstition about using even numbers of bay leaves in anything. Don't ask. I don't know. Uh, Salt and pepper, and of course my iced tea. Don't worry about that. It's not going into the recipe. First off, I glossed over the meat because there are actually options that we have here. And one of those is, of course, I have a ham shank. This particular one is a smoked ham shank. It's about 1.5 pounds, but you can also use ham hocks. You can use necks. Basically, any smoked pork product will do just perfectly fine. I'm not going to go through a whole lot of tearing this thing apart. I am going to take my fillet knife and I'm going to just take out any egregious amounts of fat. I'm not going to, sit here and do like a full biopsy or something, and get rid of it that way. But I'm just chopping down on that a little bit. So I'll be removing some of these areas, and the dogs are going to thank me because dogs. So I'm just getting rid of some of this big stuff, and I'm going to take a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, I've taken care of my ham shank here. And as I said, I was just getting rid of just some of the biggest chunks. It does not need to be broken down entirely. I'm simply going to place that here inside my Dutch oven. I'm going to add my chicken broth. I don't actually have to cover, but I do want to be able to get most of the way up, and I'll be turning this on occasion. But basically, we want to break down the connective tissue here inside of that ham. I'm also going to put in, at this point, my bay leaves. I'm going to put in about 1/2 to 3/4 teaspoons black pepper. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it for right at the moment. You'll note that I'm not actually adding any additional salt right at the moment because we have a lot of things that are going to be delivering salt, the ham being foremost among them. I'll be also adding a little bit, or 1 cube, I should say, of chicken bouillon just to kind of amp up that flavor a little. And we are going to simply put that on to boil for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to start this up, and I will see you at that point. Time travel. All right, it's been 45 minutes, and I just added some extra broth because it was boiling down a good bit. That's why the boiling has stopped. It'll come back up. But as you can see, the meat is starting to pull away from the bone and some of the cartilage. That's an excellent progress step that we've got there. This will be ready for us in a little while. Now let's go on to adding the rest of the ingredients. All right, first off, I'm going to be draining off my potatoes. When I cut them earlier, I place them in a bath of water to keep them from oxidizing, turning gray and brown and whatever it is that potatoes do. So I'm going to be adding these on in. I'm going to do the same with the green beans. You'll note, by the way, that I did not drain them. They're full of water, and the water is going to be green bean flavored, for lack of a better term, and so there's no reason to waste that. Uh, One thing about the potatoes that I neglected to mention earlier is that they are uh, a waxy type of potato that don't break down nearly as easily as russets. Now, if all I had was russets, I would still use them. I would just add them in a little bit later on in the process and just not overcook them that much to the point where they break down. But these Yukon Golds, and if you had red or new potatoes, absolutely you can still use those. Going to add in the carrots and the onions. And now we are ready for another simmering for a period of time until those become cooked. And then we'll do our final adjustment on seasoning and getting the thing all plated up. Again, this is just such an easy recipe. So, all right, time travel one more time. And approximately a half an hour to 45 minutes once again. So a total cooking time of about an hour and a half. So we're going to give this just a little try out. That's really about perfect, especially on the salt. I am going to add just another quarter teaspoon maybe of black pepper onto this. And let's turn our attention to the meat. As you saw earlier, this is pulling away quite nicely from the bone. I'm simply going to shred this just a little bit, pull it off, and just to distribute it a little bit in and around the soup. I might even pull this out, put it on the cutting board. But plenty of meat there. Give me just a minute or so, and I'll have this all composed. All right, after a little bit of manual labor, which really wasn't much, it came off there really easily. I'm putting the ham back into the pot. We'll give that a quick stir. As you can tell, it just kind of more or less slid right off of there. No problems whatsoever. Stir that in, and now it's time for us to eat. And we're all bowled up. Now, this soup is just really kind of what you need when it's starting to get cold outside. We've got some of the fall months that are finally starting to hit upon us. And this only gets better after a refrigeration and a reheat cycle, like a lot of soups often do. Perfect. Now, you can also add certain things to this. A handful of chopped cabbage. You can also, if you happen to have any bacon left over from breakfast, absolutely just toss it in. And it only makes it even better from there. Thanks once again for visiting Eating Plebian. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really, really helps me get my pages out there and my videos out there so people can figure out what they can do with the leftovers if they have them, or cook cheaply, and getting rid of these takeout and restaurant bill expenses, because the economy the way it is, everyone is starting to look at their checkbooks a little bit more closely. That's assuming people still use checkbooks, do they? I don't think so. Anyways, but thanks for joining us. Have a great day.